Mm-hmm. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on what time zone you're in or what time you watch this video. Today we're back with likely a relatively heavier track. This is Depression by Ren, and I'm curious to get into it because I find when Ren writes, obviously like he writes a lot of songs that are very emotional, but when he's in that dark space, it's like some of the most creative writing I've ever seen. And so, though it's born from a really dark place, it creates this light in the darkness that I am always excited to see because it acts as like a beacon for everyone else. So, without further ado, hope that you're having a lovely day. Love you all. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Okay. Oh, man.
Pattern to compose.
Right out the gate, that vocalization that he's doing right there, it's almost like it's sadness, it's depression, it's frustration, it's being at the end of your rope. It's like just so many emotions. You can feel the dark place that he's in at this moment of writing the song, and it's almost like it's still a call for help in that vocalization, where there's still that hope that something will change, but it's just still that darkness that surrounds you in that moment. Holy smokes.
My thought pattern to compose by a time bomb for an author.
Wow.
Like pigs to the slaughter. A symphony of self-doubt sings out, breath starts getting shorter. Running water is the state that I wish to become. Instead, concrete envelops my movement and I'm rendered deaf and dumb, unable to heed the advice.
Oh my god, concrete. Just, it's like the idea where you want to just go with the flow, right? Like the flow of running water. And even that idea, he wants to be running water. He wants to be running, like moving, you know what I mean? Moving from this place that he's in. But then he feels like he's made of concrete, where his body is heavy physically, but also his mentality is heavy, because like when you're in a dark space, you feel like you're trapped in that space and you feel like it's literally weighing you down, which is where the concrete comes from as well. And it all just starts kind of weighing on you heavily in your mind, in your body. And he's writing this in a time where he's experiencing probably like some of the worst things he's ever experienced in his life, wondering when it's going to get better, right? And it's just not getting better. But I also really like that line. It's written by let me go back just to see it. My thought patterns are composed by a time bomb for an author, where he's the author, right? But it's all this ticking time bomb in his head. These words, these thoughts that are inside his mind are actually almost poisonous. They're just making him ready to more and more explode, right? In this dark place, become fractured into fragments. And that's such a crazy way to say that it's almost like you're trapped in this mindset where things just aren't getting better and they only just keep getting worse. And it's your thoughts that are pushing you to that dark space. Man, just so good. Oh, and then I really like this too. A symphony of self-doubt sings out, where it's like, even if you're starting to feel like you're doing better, even if your mind starts to like you feel like you're actually going to get to a better place, your mind starts to trick you with self-doubt, being like, nah, it's still just as bad. Like, it's just so heavy. And man, this is what I meant. Like when he writes, especially like in these moments where he gets really vulnerable, really open about where he's at, it's just beautiful. You know what I mean? Damn. Okay.
The state that I wish to become. Instead, concrete envelops my movement and I'm rendered deaf and dumb, unable to heed the advice of others.
Oh wow, yeah.
Don't tell me things will get better, cause so far things haven't gotten better. I've got the sweater, poster child, bipolar, ADHD, therapist, wet dream. I don't want to talk about my father, I don't want to talk about my dead friend, I don't want to talk about myself. I'm sick of talking about myself. I'm sick of talking about myself and realizing that talking about myself never ever helps. Still,
bro, you can even hear, like, as he's saying this, the pain as he's realizing everything that he's been thinking. Like, it's because when you're in this dark place, you almost try to distract yourself from that darkness that exists, right? And talking about it reminds you that it's there, so you're like kind of just done talking about it. And that's where he's gotten to the point where he's like, he doesn't want to talk about it. And now as he starts to talk about it again, you feel that pain, almost like that lump in his throat starting to form already, because it's almost like opening up a wound that you know it's there, but if you don't look at it, maybe it feels a little bit better. I really like that idea that he's trapped in concrete and renders him deaf and dumb, because it's like he's deaf because he doesn't want to hear anything else anymore. He's been told he's going to be better, but he just, when is it going to happen? When is that experience of getting better going to happen? Because it's just not happening right now. And yet everyone keeps saying it's going to happen. So am I the one that's stupid? Am I acting? Is this me being dumb? And in some ways it is, right? Because in some ways we forget all the good things that exist in our life and start focusing on that bad, which is kind of not a great mindset to be in. But on the other side of that is like, when you're the one going through that experience, when you're the one that's suffering, hearing those words that it's going to get better is so frustrating if things don't change, because it's like, yeah, well, when? You know what I mean? Like, I've been going through this for so long. When is it going to change? Man. Damn. And I really, the therapist wet dream, that was like, it's just all those things that you're going through that lead you to that place. And you're like, oh yeah, this is what a therapist would love to explore, because there's just so much going on, so much darkness, that they'd love to unpack that. You know what I mean? And the other side of that is almost like the money aspect. Like, they make a lot of money off of me, so it's like literally their wet dream. Holy smokes! And then the other side of that too. Here, wow, this is what I mean. There's just so much when he packs it into this. He's sick of talking about himself. He doesn't want to talk about how he feels because it doesn't feel like it's ever helping. And then that only reminds him how bad it feels. So why would he want to talk about himself at this point anyways? Holy smokes.
Sick of talking about myself and realizing that talking about myself never ever helps. Still, I call for help because I really want help.
Yeah.
But the pills didn't seem to help, and the therapist didn't seem to help. But still, I want help. I've danced with the devil in hell. I've sat in a prisonless cell, and here I always dwell, in this prison in myself.
Wow.
I do this thing when my
prisonless cell, because it's like you are almost trapping yourself. It's your own mindset that's the prison. You're trapped in that place, but it's a place partly by your creation, but it's also a place created by this dark moment of your life that's led you there, right? And he even says here, it's like that struggle where you're struggling with, like, you want help, but because nothing seems to help, it's almost more discouraging when you go to places that are supposed to help, and then you're not seeing a change, and then it's like, well, then maybe I'm just not meant to improve, and then it traps you in your own mindset again. Holy.
in this prison in my soul.
Something kind of cool, actually, I just realized is like, this is almost like him talking to us, right? It's almost like the song, the singer, the bard in Ren at this point has left, because there's nothing to sing happily about. There's nothing to sing gladly about. There's no, even the passion to sing has left him, and he's left in this prison in his mind with just this monotone voice, not monotone, but like this voice talking to us, explaining it. And it's almost like he's at his other session, at a session with a therapist, where the therapist is the music. And so he's trying to explain it to us and explain it to himself in order to kind of progress through it. And that's where his therapy is. It's in his music. God damn, there's so many layers to Ren's writing. And then the other side is you hear that there's almost like a heavier voice in the background now as he's saying these parts, because it's like, as you get deeper and deeper inside your mind, it's like the devil, you're dancing with the devil, which is what he just said. And the devil's voice is in the back of your mind telling you all these things and feeding into that darkness.
I always dwell in this prison in my soul. I do this thing when my mind travels back to the golden age. You know those times where you were carefree and everything was golden? The golden age. You know those times where everything was golden, where you were carefree and everything was golden? The hardest thing I ever had to do was come to terms with the fact that that time never really existed. I've always felt so
Oh my God. Okay, hang on. One thing I really, really like that he just did there, it takes you back to the golden age. Like, he repeated the same sentence so many times. And this is something that happens a lot. As someone who deals with like a chronic illness myself, and I'm sure many others can sympathize, like, in the worst moments, you keep thinking back to the times before it was as bad as it is. And then it almost hurts to think about it, but then you keep going back there because thinking about where you're at now hurts more than thinking about the past. And you just want to get back to the past where things were simpler, things were better, and things were improved. And that's why your mind kind of keeps going back to it. And you even get in the lines here, the golden age, you know, the times where everything was golden, where you were carefree and everything was golden. And you just keep reminding yourself of when things were better, because you're like, how can I be trapped in this now that sucks so bad. I'd rather be back there. And your mind repeats all the times that existed before. Oh my God, man. Jesus, this is rough.
Everything was golden. The hardest thing I ever had to do was come to terms with the fact that time never really existed. I've always felt so fucking detached and broken, bruised and mismatched. Find it hard to relax, living under the cracks. Tried to fill in the gaps, lying here on my back. Still,
Wow.
I can't find it. Sense of peace in my mind.
Living under the cracks and you're filling it in. It's the prison, right? Like you're living under the cracks where that light is seeping in, and you can see the light, and there are cracks there that you could escape from, but instead of escaping from them, you trap yourself in that mindset, that prison in your mind, where it's just the darkness takes over. And so you are starting to kind of fill in those cracks so that there is no light coming through at all. And that's what your mind is doing, because it keeps taking you on that rotation through that dark place in your own head, where you keep experiencing the hardships, and that's all you can think about. And then that rotates through your mind over and over again. I really like that. Lying on your back with the cracks and you're filling them in. What a metaphor, because it's like you're knocked down. The world feels like it's against you. You can see the light, but instead of reaching up, you just sit there and lie there. And then instead of kind of pushing through, you start filling in the cracks so that no light comes through at all. And that's what happens in the mind when you experience depression. You just kind of dive deeper and deeper into this depth of sadness that exists within you, and it pushes you to go further and further below. And it's this cyclical mindset that keeps you down. And then it's so hard to explain it to people, but he does such a beautiful job right here to actually convey that emotion, that feeling, that intensity, that pain in just wow. Fill in the gaps also can even be a double, because it's like you're trying to fill in the gaps of your life that you feel empty, right? But it's also the idea that, oh my God, where you're trying to fill it in with these happier moments, but you just can't seem to find them. Holy smokes, guys, this is ridiculous.
Lying here on my back, still I can't find it. Sense of peace in my mind declined it. Pulse increase and my sweat combines with a feeling so deep I fall inside it.
Yeah, depth
Depression.
of
I hate you, depression. Your constant oppression. Respond with aggression. They say depression brings you lessons. Constant stressing conceals blessings. You will grow in broken settings. Fuck those lessons. Fuck depression. I've been living in your shadow for
the rage. Like, it's that point where you're so angry that you have to deal with this, that it turns from sorrow to just this vengeful rage against depression. But remember that depression is in your own mind, so it's really against yourself. And you can feel it in the voice here. You can feel it in this battle that he's going through, where he's like, I'm just pissed now. I'm so tired of being in this spot, feeling like I'm never going to get out. And it's your fault. It's your fault, depression, but it's your fault because you're trapping yourself in your own prison of your own mind. And so this frustration is both against the world for putting you in this setting, this broken setting, but also against yourself for allowing yourself to stay in that mindset. Oh my God.
fuck depression. I've been living in your shadow for so long that I forgot how I can shine, how I can find a refuge in my mind, how am I meant to sit here and unwind? The planets align, I feel like I'm cursed, feel like I'm cursed to just be here to hurt, feel like I'm cursed to just be here to bleed, but my demons been feeling this way since birth. Depression, I hate you. 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 Depression.
God damn, man. He's so real. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you don't know. Like, like, my God, you don't realize how many things you've gone through until sometimes you listen to Ren's music and he just perfectly composes the ideas that you've experienced, and then you're like, wow, that's exactly what I've been trying to say, and he just said it perfectly in a way that's so digestible and so relatable to anyone, right? Even if it's not depression, even if it's just sadness or sorrow that you've experienced, you can sympathize. And that's the power of Ren's music, is it connects everyone and everything in this way that's so understandable. And I cannot appreciate that enough. Like, it's just so powerful. It's connection at its finest through his music, but also he's connecting people just through the experiences that they've had. Wow, I like, especially where was it? He said the planets. This is really cool because he says the planets align, but I feel like I'm cursed. You know what, the idea of when the planets align, it's like something beautiful is going to happen, but it's like in your mind that kind of luck doesn't happen. So when the planets align, your world just gets worse. You feel like you're cursed. You feel like you cannot get through this. And it's been like that since the day you were born. Even though it probably hasn't been, your mind makes you feel like that. And that suffering feels like it's omnipotent, feels like it's all encompassing, and it's trapping you inside of it. And you just keep going further and further into the depths of this depression, hoping for more, but never necessarily finding more, because it just feels like all you can find is that darkness. God damn. What I think that's beautiful about this, though, is like knowing someone else has experienced this. When he puts it out in music like this, you start to understand that, you know what? Maybe I'm not alone. And that in and of itself helps to uplift you, helps to make you feel a little bit more powerful because you're not alone in that darkness. And I think that's freaking beautiful. And that's one of the best things about Ren's music, is like, it's therapy for him in that he gets out the thoughts and feelings that he's experiencing in a way that helps him feel a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit better. But in a lot of ways, it's also therapy for us, experiencing his discussion and experiencing the way that he feels, because it allows us to connect and allows us to actually experience things that we've, or re-perceive things that we've gone through, and begin to view it from a lens that, like, oh, now I understand it just a little bit better. Even if it's just a little bit better is still better. And in that way, you start to feel a little bit better. Wow. Wow. This was like, damn, especially at the end there, like, you can feel the pain in his voice as he just starts to like let it go again, and you start to almost feel like he's going to go back to the start of the song, which is what this whole song is about. It's that cyclical cycle of depression that makes you feel trapped. What a powerful song. Just amazing, man. Ren is like such just artistry, music, and humanity at its finest. Amazing. Amazing. Oh my god. Okay, man. Anyone out there experiencing this kind of level of darkness and this little level of difficulty, like, no, you're not alone. That's the most important thing, is that you're not alone. There are people out there that are maybe experiencing the same things, but beyond that, there's people out there that want to support you and help you, like me. And I'm sure you have people in your life too. And sometimes it's hard to see, because when you're in that state, it feels like no one understands and no one gets it. And maybe we don't understand it, or maybe we don't completely get it, but that doesn't mean we can't help you carry that burden. And that's what's important. That's what we're here for. We're here for each other. We're here to support each other and help each other through even the darkest of times. Man, I love you all. I love you all a lot. I hope that your week is better than your day. Your month is better than your week. And your year is better than your month. Wow. Love you all. See you on the next one.